This is Public Access Signals from the Other Side, Part 9. We are back after a 3 week hiatus. We have collectively and separately been trying to get caught up on what was happening before we went on the Gauntlet retreat, or otherwise had our little hiatus here. A couple of things I want to point out before we begin doing all the recapping and stuff, or one thing really. I have been informing all of my groups this week about this, but I do have a new puppy now, and I am on day 4 of new puppy, and she was brilliant yesterday. She sat through 2 6-hour games or 2 3-hour games, and was totally chill and fine. She's doing great right now. She's trying to get into a nap, but I may have to dive away suddenly to deal with puppy stuff, and so I'm not going to warn you. I'm just going to leave, and so just assume that it'll all be okay. And if you're watching the video, that's what's going on. As also, if you see me looking away, I'm looking at the dog. So, I think that's the only bit of housekeeping. Another bit of housekeeping, I guess we should probably talk about now, is this session and the next session are the last 2 sessions for a while. We are going to try to get us to a sort of like mid-season finale, so to speak, kind of ending point, and then the series will be back in July. So for people who are watching this, just anticipate that. So as the thing that's going to be happening. And so let's go ahead and recap where we were at. Now, we were in the middle of a night phase, and there was a lot going on in this night phase, and we're going to talk about it in detail, but I want to just quickly go over at a high level where each of the 3 mysteries stand. So you have answered the question on Starlight Kingdom, which is essentially you've determined that the entity that has taken over Starlight Kingdom is an alien intelligence of some sort that is stuck here. It can't leave for some reason. And so while it's here, it's researching humanity. And it's doing so through these like rather intense expressions of emotion and manipulating people who come to Starlight Kingdom sort of emotionally in order to see how they react to things and to learn more about us. This is what you believe is going on. You also believe that inside that strange nondescript cinder block building, there is a hatch somewhere that will take you down to a place where apparently you can communicate with the entity. And so I believe Nathan and Ashley's plan is to find said hatch and communicate with the entity in order to find out what the deal is now, or to get it to go away and stop. The interesting thing that's going on here with Starlight Kingdom, and the resolution of this is you all spent keys to bump it up to a 12 plus, your answer a question. And so Big Man is appearing in the resolution, and I'm doing it in a really, really like non-traditional way. That's what the play is, the play that's taking place in Starlight Kingdom. And so there is this play that's going on in the background of everything that's happening at Starlight Kingdom. This little artist commune that has sort of developed and built up over the last weeks at Starlight Kingdom is putting on this really interesting thing. There's some more to talk about there. We might as well do it now. Angela Hoskins, who is the sister of one of the Zagreus victims from back in 1985, she is at the play. She has agreed to participate. She's on stage, and she's with this character called the Miner, and she's playing a star, trying to lead him out of the darkness to find the star above. And in the middle of that, this guy with the black hoodie and the bull mask has interrupted the play and has kind of called out to Angela. We are starting to think that this guy is connected to Zagreus. We know he is. He could be Adafoy. We don't know for sure. We don't know exactly that's the case, but that's the strong, hint that he is. And so that's what's sort of going on there with the play. None of the Latchkeys are dealing with that. That's all something that's just happening off screen or out of character for you all. What Ashley and Nathan are doing is they are in the nondescript building, which has transformed itself to be Ashley's home when Ashley was a kid, and Ashley's parents beckoned her up some stairs, and Nathan, I think, tentatively followed, and we see Ashley's mother sitting on a bed facing away when you walk in. She has something important to discuss with Ashley. And then the whole session ended with cut. And so we don't know what's going to happen after that, but that's where Ashley and Nathan are at right now. The other mystery that's being actively worked on is Zagreus. Our Stuck in the Chromatic Desert character Sean has been playing Zagreus, has been moving through the secret levels. You have beaten, I believe, of the secret levels, you have defeated, let's see here. You definitely did the descent and the river. I think you did the garden as well. Because you found your fighting fantasy book. That's what you found in the garden. Did you end up doing the labyrinth or not? I can't recall.
That's what I'm on now.
Okay, so you're going to get your. Did you do the roll yet?
I have not.
You have not done the roll. Okay, so you're getting ready to do the labyrinth, which is the secret level on Zagreus. And as part of what you did on the river level, Mark showed up, and we don't really know what his deal is there. He's always a very unreliable sort of character. We'll see what his deal is at some point.
Sorry, I did finish the labyrinth. I did that earlier. Now I'm on the
okay.
palace.
That's right, because the labyrinth, you got that special thing that lets you allow the Latchkeys to escape a bad situation, essentially. So you're on the palace. Oh, okay, which is really interesting. Okay, great. We will come back to that straight away. And then Topher, not actively working on a mystery, but currently at 18 Escondido Street to rescue Elliot Rappaport, who we believe is in danger. Casey Wilcox was there with you, as was Mr. W. And out of character, we know that what's her name, Pamela or Paula?
Paula Palmer.
Paula Palmer and Leo are hanging out in 18 Escondido Street. And some stuff happened, some creepy stuff happened, and now Casey's missing as well. So Topher's kind of there with just Mr. W, not knowing where Elliot or Casey is at this point. And that's where we left Topher. You have currently watched 6. It says 6 watched. I thought it was more than that. Maybe it's not. You've watched 6 Odyssey tapes. No, yeah, it is 6. You have in your possession, however, 8, I believe. One that is Lucky Lots, and then one that Ashley found, but I have not given you the name of yet, if I remember correctly. So I think I'm going to do that now. That tape is called Static Woman Live Interview. So you have 2 tapes to be watched in your possession. And yeah, I think that's a pretty thorough recap. I think we kind of did everything. I think the plan for today is I want to get to this night phase. We're going to do a really quick day phase just to essentially introduce the new mystery, assuming the Starlight Kingdom gets resolved. We'll introduce them in the mystery, maybe do a scene per character, and then go straight into the night phase again so that we kind of start afresh next week. If everybody's cool with that. Does anybody have any questions or anything? I apologize, a lot of me talking, but okay. Then I think we'll just pick right up with Act 3. I'm not done talking. Act 3 of the play. At this point, Hoodie and Bull Mask says to the star, I can help you reach him. I can help you reach your brother. You just have to come with me. And there's a hesitation, but Angela does step toward him. There's a lot of tension in the audience, but particularly with the people who are putting on the play because they know this is not how it's supposed to go. And to make matters more interesting, a part of the set begins to rise up from the back, like a riser, little platform, atop which there is a person, a man who is completely naked, except for the big wide golden sun mask on his face. And he says, "You can go with him, but you should know that the gods often demand sacrifice." And almost as if she's getting into the mindset of a play and soliloquizing, she calls back and says, "I am ready to play my part. I'm ready to do whatever it takes to rescue my brother." And the curtain falls. Cut. Nathan, you can hear all of the production behind you, like the time when you were talking to Big Man out in the desert. What do you do?
I think hearing it, the first thing Nathan does is paranoid, like look around for Harvey Stosky to see if he's
Oh,
slaughtering
he's
crew
right
members
there.
again. Oh God.
He's sitting in the director's chair, fucking drenched in blood, a knife kind of like dangling from his fingers. He's got the little like bullhorn thing, classic like kind of director, bullhorn thing. And he says, "I think we can make this scene much more interesting. I think people are tired of all this like weird cryptic family drama. I think what they want is blood. What do you think, Nathan?"
What is what is your deal, man?
Yeah, actress playing Ashley's mother. Let's try this. Why don't you reach into the nightstand? You will find something in there. What did we put in the nightstand? You will find an ice pick in the nightstand. Why don't you go ahead and grab that and then swing around and bury it in Ashley's forehead? I think the people are going to really love that. Let's give them what they want, people. Let's go. Action. You do see your mother turned away, reaching for the nightstand, holding the drawer open. What are the two of you doing right now?
Um Narratively, this is silly as hell, but it's the only justification I can see for ever using this. I think I'm going to like Nathan is going to like in a panic of wanting to defend Ashley, I guess, is going to pull out one of his uh heavy lint roller and chuck it at the mom's head. Just like reaction, throw it to just as she's reaching for a weapon, just to crack her in the skull with it.
I love it. Is the intention to escape or to
I think yeah, he's gonna throw it, hit her in the head, grab Ashley's hand, and like run.
Ashley, are you okay with being grabbed and rescued, or do you want to stay and deal with this?
I think I'm okay with it, but I also still owe a key, and
You
I
do.
think it might be interesting to do that now because I
Please
think
do.
like
Yeah, I'd love it. Yeah,
yeah,
please do.
because my key is the first time you discovered TV Odyssey, so I think if everyone's okay with that, I think the TV in the room is actually like gonna glitch and start, and it's just like as this conversation is going on and we kind of see Nathan like go for the lint roller. I think the TV like glitches on and there's like this blare of rock and roll music. There's this imagery of blood splatters. There's a knife that goes into someone. There's like a woman screaming with the exaggerated eyes. And then it like cuts off and we see this very prim and proper woman in like a doctor's coat. She has like this long braid with flowers in it. And she says, do these images worry you? Your children might be seeing them more often than you even know. Hello, I am Dr. Sky, an expert in audiology and the founder of the Forest of Joy Foundation. Every day, we are exposed to frequencies. And when she says the word frequencies, there's like this screeching tone that's like we see that in Ashley's sort of flashback, her parents aren't reacting to this. And we see that she's kind of like watching through like the crack of the door in the room that she's not allowed in. And she like grabs her ears, but her parents don't seem to hear this. And the woman on the television screen continues. Every day, we are exposed to frequencies too subtle to hear, but they are everywhere. You and your children are being poisoned by these new technologies. Our children's brains rotten by television and video games. Our jobs are being replaced by robots as the greedy feed on our fairy souls. How long before we lose them? Our fairy souls. In the Forest of Joy Foundation, there is still a place of humanity. And as she talks and these these screeching tones keep repeating, we flash back to Ashley who's just like frozen in fear and kind of like shaking her head and trying to look away, but she can't. And in this frequency, we hear over and over 3 statements. One that says, kill what makes you guilty, and you'll always be innocent. Another one that says, kill what makes you afraid, and you'll always be brave. And then we see the woman in the flashback look right at Ashley, even though she's hidden, even though she's like watching through a very small crack in the door, as she says, kill what makes you sad, and you'll always be happy. And then the TV glitches off. And
I love
Ashley is
it.
just like staring in fear.
With that context, I think the mother, as she's pulling out the ice pick, she's still facing away from you. She says, "You have the signal inside you, Ashley. I know it's wormed its way into your head. And if we don't take it out, you're going to turn into a robot. You're going to turn into a robot just like me." And when she turns, we see a kind of they live skeletal robot kind of situation underneath a bad blondish brown wig. Here's your chance to make your move, Nathan. What do you do?
Just yells, grabs a lit roller, and hucks it. It's the only thing he has on hand.
I feel like it's probably it's an object of comfort and power for someone like Nathan, I imagine. Do go ahead and roll the night move. What do you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
I'm afraid that I'm going to miss, and this thing will advance on Ashley.
I think that is certainly right, and it's worse than that. I think it's worse than that. Oh, I don't want to implicate anything too bad for Ashley because Ashley's not rolling. But I will say that I think it's worse than that. I think Harvey Stosky will insist on recasting you as a robot as well, just to increase the tension of the scene. So let's go ahead and roll with vitality, but advantage.
You got it. Coming right up. Okay. And my vitality is 0. Yeah, it's a 9.
Okay, not too bad. I think that you are going to escape, but not before you have to fight off Mrs. Oakes. And
oh, hell yeah. It's like
you'll take like some
that's probably when my move triggers too.
Oh yeah, because that's perfect, because I think she was probably like I think she's gonna grab you with her searing robot claws, right, and leave some kind of horrible scar on you. Be thinking what this scene looks like. Let's cut over to Topher. Topher, you actually hear coming from the direction of Elliot's room. Elliot's playing Nintendo. Sean, what NES game is Elliot playing? Also, but while you're thinking of it, I love it. While you're thinking of it, or I was going to say, I was listening to this one podcast, this horror podcast about these British guys who are into horror movies, or this British guy, and they say the NES, they say NES. Isn't that horrifying? NES. What the fuck? Yeah. Anyway, what the hell's wrong with you, United Kingdom? I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. Okay, so the NES is playing Mappyland. Love that. What do you do, Topher?
I think first they are going to try and see if Elliot's even in there or if it's just weird deep lake things. Video games like to play themselves recently.
How are you feeling right now?
Probably like very like amped, like an adrenaline high.
You can press forward. I think you can hear Mr. W, normally very loyal and brave, still loyal, but whining a little bit. Do you go inside the room? You see the door just slightly ajar with a little bit of sort of faint blackish blue glow coming from the television.
Absolutely.
Inside you see Elliot sitting cross-legged on the floor, NES controller in hand, and Casey sitting cross-legged. Casey looks up at you and says, "Oh, hey, everything's okay after all."
That doesn't sound right, man.
Elliot says, "No, really, it's okay. So
What
long as
changed?
well, so long as I'm here, they can't leave."
Well, that's I don't think that makes I guess it makes as much sense as anything else, but I
They're
don't think
bad. They're bad people. They're monsters, even. But they don't really understand what's happening right now. And so long as I'm here, pretending to play the mostly good, but occasionally mischievous son, then they just go around in circles and they'll be stuck here. It's not always the easiest thing. And then Casey says, "But I'm going to stay here and help him out."
I don't think I can let you guys just sacrifice yourselves like that. It's very noble, but I think we can deal with whatever this is without this.
Elliot, speaking in that frank way that kids do, he pauses the game and says, "I can come with you, but they're going to follow."
I think that's all right. We'll figure it out.
Sean Thompson having a run at Zagreus. Secret level, the palace. Pixelated chambers with pillars, masked courtiers, a shadowy king upon a blood-red throne. This level requires you to solve a complex rhythm game, all while avoiding the knives of the court. And here's the paint to screen. Something about this level makes Sean think the game is aware of him. What is it?
There's a king in the palace sitting on a throne, and he's wearing a sheriff's badge.
I think the first time Sean mutters something about, is that all you got? Is that all you got? You have no idea who you're dealing with. Just under his breath, just trash talking this game. A little box pops up on screen, and the game says, "No, I have more."
I think there's like some of the rhythms or like that pop up have almost like a Disney tune to it, like Disney on Ice, the one that you wanted to go to but weren't allowed to.
I think the screen occasionally like flickers, like a little like just kind of like a blackout, like blip every so often. And subconsciously, I think Sean realizes it's almost as if it's the cabinet blinking, as if its eyes are just looking at him, and occasionally it just flutters its eyes shut every so often. Just that feeling of being watched by this thing.
The die roll is a really tough one, Sean. You are, let's see, you've beaten 1, 2, 3, 4 levels right now, which puts the die roll automatically at -4. And you get to decide whether you're going to roll with composure or reason. So you do have that option. And so which are you rolling with?
Oh, they're both at 1, so
So you're at
Doesn't-
-3, not great. I'm not going to make your conditions in play though. So if you want to work in a corner of the house item, if you can find a way to do it, you'll get advantage. So that can only help.
the only case I think I can make right now is for his Atari, which he brought. He's been getting a lot of use out of it, playing those old games. He has a feel for this kind of thing right now.
I love it. That's perfect. Go ahead and mark it and roll 3 dice and take the 2 highest.
7.
Okay, well, that's like not the worst thing. On a hit, you defeat the level and collect the prize. The prize, oh, how interesting. What an interesting prize it is. We'll talk about the prize after you describe what it's like when you beat the level. Be thinking about that. Let's cut back over to Nathan and Ashley. Nathan, you're in control of the scene here.
Oh, wonderful. Well, then, prior to letting Jazzy narrate the lashing out of Ashley, since I got that complication, then I will. Yeah, Nathan, seeing her reach for the ice pick, just hucks a lint roller, just reactionarily grabs it and just hucks it. It spins through the air and hits the fake Mrs. Oakes right against like the side of her head, with like the hard plastic top of the lint roller. So there's a decisive like crack. It's not enough to really cause any lasting harm, but Mrs. Oakes like her head jerks to the side as she was reaching for the ice pick, so kind of knocks her out of the way. And I think without thinking, Nathan just kind of like sprints forward to just like get like up in her business and like shove her and like wrestle with her in this sudden, even surprising Nathan display of like heroism, almost like it's very out of character, but he kind of just like throws himself into it. I think he's like struggling with her, and is like, Ashley, run! And but that's when like she Mrs. Oakes manages to like fumble around, grab the ice pick, and is gonna like raise it, and is really getting up in Nathan's business with it, like really kind of like stabbing down. He's like wrestling, and clearly he's Nathan's not built for fighting. Nathan's not built for a lot, but he's definitely not fighting.
Now, Ashley, you said at this point you're going to invoke your custom move, right?
Yes.
Which is kill them with kindness.
Yes. So the
does this look
3
like?
boxes are marked. So
Marked.
I break.
Oh.
You must lash out in excessive violence at the next threat to physically harm you or others when you are present.
Oh, I love it. Go, take it away.
So I think, yeah, she like hears the run, and there's like almost this like instinctive startle of just wanting to follow an order that is barked at you. But then I see that Nathan isn't winning this fight, or at least not as decisively as Ashley would want to. And she kind of like just stands there frozen and goes like, no, Mom, don't, please. And I think she kind of like just keeps shaking her head, and then she's like just suddenly there, and her hand, I think we see like the ice pick coming down, but instead of like going down into Nathan's shoulder, Ashley's hand is there, and she wrestles it free and like smacks her mom away with an elbow, kicks her down in the chest, and then I think she just has this ice pick, and she's not even looking at Nathan anymore. Like there's a part of her that is not present and just focused on this threat and still like kind of like shaking her head almost as if she's confused or trying to get something out. And she goes to her mom and just buries the ice pick. And I think we get like that when she pulls it back out, there's a splatter of blood against the wall as we see the shadows just over and over and over again as she's just like not even making a sound until then you hear a giggle. Just I think you would win. And she does it again and again and again and just keeps going.
I think Nathan watches on in like absolute horror.
I love it. I love it. That's really good. Topher, I think in order to convince Elliot to come with you to 26 Rodenbecker Street, you're going to have to do the night move. The stakes here don't have to be super serious, but I am curious what you're afraid is going to happen if you fail to convince Elliot of this.
Well, that he's gonna stay and be like further wrapped up in all of this badness.
It's worse than that. Whatever these things are, that you have not seen yet, but you can feel. Whatever these things are, their hunger is going to become overwhelming, and Elliot will be the first thing on the menu.
Oh,
You can just turn away and let this all go, and that won't be a possibility, or you can roll with presence.
all right.
And I think I'm going to put you at disadvantage because of found footage.
Okay. I think that Topher's going to kind of like clutch the little protective word that Ashley gave them as like a little comfort thing.
Is that in your
And
corner of the house?
Yeah, it is.
Nice. That balances it out then, so just roll regular dice.
All right. +0. Here we go. Oh boy, that's a 4.
Elliot says, Topher, you've done so much for me. And me and my family and Casey are all very grateful. But this is something that I have to do. This is something that I have to contend with. So I'm going to have to ask you to leave now. And before you can even react, you feel it's just like you're being pulled out of the house rapidly, but it's more like the house is stepping away from you. You just find yourself deposited on the sidewalk outside of 18 Escondido Street. The windows and shutters slam shut, the door slams shut. Mr. W gives you a confused whine. And that's what happens. Unless you turn a key.
Yeah, I think I will. I will turn the key of the child.
Very good. Instead, I'm going to say this. Elliot says, okay, we'll come with you. We should go right away. And he packs his, I think he has a Transformers backpack, and he packs it, puts all of his necessary items inside, and Casey and Elliot are ready to go. Anything else you need to do, or you're going to go out there with them?
No, I think they're gonna go and try and escort kids out back to Rodenbecker Street.
As you're getting ready to leave the house, Elliot looks up at you and says, don't watch any more of those tapes. They're drawn here by the tapes. And the worst one is yet to arrive. If you watch another tape, you're going to invite him in. And we'll end the scene there, or that part of the scene. Sean, please go ahead and defeat the palace.
I think it's as the screen blinks at him, as the text pops up, he just doubles down. You see the tongue stick out the corner of his mouth, his eyes narrow, and he grips the joystick and just is in pure video game flow and focus, dodging the attackers, getting right on the beat, getting to that king. And when he gets there, the little pixelated version of himself seems to reach up, snatch that sheriff star from the king's chest, and toss it away. And he just says, and now what?
I love it. You get the prize for this level. For defeating the palace, the cabinet shows a prophecy of a fellow Latchkey's demise. In a future scene, when another Latchkey is getting ready to take an action that will require a die roll, you can warn them that Zagreus predicted their death if they take this action. If they go through with the action anyway, you both mark XP. On the die roll, the miss result is replaced with "you are killed." The keeper will describe how. So note that somewhere on your sheet. You have this little prophecy, which is just for you for now. And then the move says, when all the boxes have been marked, you have beaten all these levels, you unlock the final level. The next time you use press start, you don't have to make a roll. Instead, well, just let me know if you want to do that last level.
Yeah, Sean's not giving up now.
Act 4. The curtain rises. The miner is actually standing at the top of a long staircase on stage. And at the rear of the stage, in the far background, we see this naked man with the sun mask. He says, "To reach me, you must first descend. To go up, you must first go down. Indeed." And this he says loud enough for you two to hear. "You must go down the stairs, make an immediate left. Run as far and fast as you can, make another left, and then make the second right, and then look down. That is how you will find the way to me." Once again, the showrunners feel like this has gotten completely out of their hands. They don't know what's going on. But the miner begins going down the stairs, probably at a more leisurely pace than the two of you. What's happening here?
Yeah. I feel like after that brutal display, actually I'll ask you, Jesse, what would she have like snapped out of it, or would she have just been like, would like Nathan interacting with her like pulled her out of it, and like what's going on there?
I think she would just like continue, and I think she will like start saying things like, you won't take him, I won't let you take him, and then just like keep. And there's just like blood all over. Like, I think it's just a bloody mess on the floor. Like, there's clearly no threat anymore, but it's almost like mechanical. Like, the moves just keep going.
Nathan like walks up behind her, and like it's like he's approaching a wild animal at first. There's that like real anxiety in him, but he like takes a deep breath and like reach out and just like puts his hand on Ashley's shoulder and just goes, Ashley, and like they like pulls her back to like, you know, maybe help her like turn around so she can see him. He's like, I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere. No one's gonna take me. I'm here. I'm okay. But we gotta go. I'm okay.
She kind of like, at first there's like this like that wild animal look where it's just wants to lash out at everything that is in contact with it. But then as soon as you start talking, that look goes away and she kind of blinks. There's blood just blinking from her eyelashes, dripping all over. And then she goes like, yeah, you're okay.
Okay. We
Okay.
need to go.
Yeah. And I think still holding on to that ice pick dripping with blood, she'll like get up and just follow him. Unsure what.
He'll offer his hand to her.
She'll take it.
Yeah.
Like almost like too fast.
And yeah, we'll follow those strange directions and fuck this production.
Indeed. Topher, as you're going across the street, you only have to go across one street in 1 yard to get back to Rodenbecker. Casey says, do you have Nintendo?
Well, I used to, actually. I had a GameCube, but
No, I mean at the house. Do you have Nintendo?
Well, we have an arcade cabinet, kind of like a Nintendo, but I don't know if it's really like. It's kind of been playing itself recently.
They both look at each other and they say, what do kids say in the 80s? Radical or something like that, 90s. And gnarly. Or no, I don't know. I was a kid. I was
Reaganomics.
Yeah.
Reaganomics. Yeah,
Reaganomics.
exactly.
They're intrigued by this, right? You know. And you know, they're just kind of doing as kids do. They're probably like, given the timing, they would probably be like, oh, sick, I hope it's Mortal Kombat 2, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And then they're talking about like all the things they changed in Mortal Kombat 2 from Mortal Kombat 1, because Mortal Kombat 2 would have been brand new right before their incident. And how Mrs. Rappaport won't let Elliot play it, and it's awesome because you're going to let them play it, and they're going to be probably really disappointed when they get there and find out it's just some 8-bit crap thing, and with no.
There's also an Atari that got left in one of the rooms for whatever reason.
Exactly, I think they're going to be incredibly disappointed. But in any case, they head back with you. We'll pick up. We're going to have a scene at Rodenbecker Street, but I want to check in with our other character at Rodenbecker Street. Dev Null. As you go to select the final level, the cabinet suddenly shuts off. After a moment of silence, the game comes back to life with the thrumming pulse of malevolent circuitry. The screen explodes into a multichromatic, glitchy strobe accompanied by shrill 8-bit tones. The Zagreus cabinet screams before shutting off for good. Now the kids are really going to be disappointed. The locked question is now unlocked. Game over. The locked question is, what is the awful truth of the Zagreus disappearances? It's complexity 6, and it allows you to resolve the mystery by posting your findings online. And so that's somewhat anticlimactic end as far as Zagreus goes, or at least playing the game. What do you do, Sean? I think Mark is there and he's like, oh, you broke it.
I didn't break it, asshole. I killed it. I fucking killed it. It's dead.
Okay, seems like you're trying to compensate for something to me, but we won't go there.
So
why are you so high-strung right now?
Why am I so high-strung? Because none of my friends can see me or seem to remember me. I can't interact with anything here other than this stupid game, and my sort of boyfriend has another boyfriend. So yeah, I'm fucking keyed up.
Oh, this is what this is about. Now it all makes sense. It makes total sense. You've always had rejection issues. That is one of the things that made our relationship so, what's the way to put it? Complicated. And so, wow, What a bummer.
Whatever rock you've crawled out of, can you go back there? Whatever is going on, I'm so done with you.
Seems like everyone's done with you, bud.
Yeah, well. Casey told me this town gets its fingers in you. It doesn't let go.
Huh.
Should have listened.
Should have listened. You should have listened to me. I was the one who said don't come here.
You said a lot of things, Mark.
Yeah. I'm going to let you have this little emotional outburst because I know that it's what you need to process and move on to acceptance. But I think I'll just hang out here for a little bit if you need me for anything.
Go to hell.
He kind of smiles and says, "You're not too far off, honestly."
Sean's gonna pick up the cat from where it had been sitting on the console and just walk out of the room and leave the house.
I think you will walk by, I mean, they won't notice you obviously, but you'll walk by Elliot, Casey, and Topher. What do you do?
He'll look at them and pause for just a minute and maybe futilely wave his hand in front of some faces, and when nothing happens, he'll just go, okay.
Let's take a 5-minute break. We'll come back and wrap the night phase. Okay, so I think this will actually probably wrap the night phase, whatever Ashley and Nathan end up doing. You do go to the directions that you were given, going down these sort of blank-walled cinder block halls, and you do find this hatch in the floor. It looks like a bomb shelter hatch. Not totally surprising because the fellow who established Starlight Kingdom had a lot of like strange thoughts about the world, and it was the 80s. So what do you do?
I have an idea, but Jazzy, if you also have something you're thinking of, you can let me know.
No? Go ahead.
I believe we established that the entity communicates on a level of like emotions, like because like it's experimenting on humanity because it doesn't understand certain aspects of it, but like it communicates best through like powerful emotions. I guess before I want to like narrate any specific action, I want to see what at least Jazzy thinks of this idea as well. What do you think of the idea of possibly the two of us being uncertain about like what to do and trying to communicate with this alien intelligence? Nathan decides like, if you understand powerful emotions and to communicate the intention of protecting something as opposed to doing this, what'll happen if Nathan kisses Ashley in a really big moment? What do you think of that?
Yeah, I am absolutely fine with that. I think
Nice.
Ashley is just like, I think it also would make narrative sense because I think Ashley is just like clearly like not okay with what she's just done in that way, where she's like just kind of following you and like she kind of keeps shaking her head. And if we see the latch, she'll just kind of like go for it in this very like mechanical, distant way where she's like, yeah, I guess this is what we're doing now.
Yeah, then I think that what Nathan does, since he seems to be the one in like full control of his attention at the moment, will attempt to at first establish that like first line of contact with this anomaly. I mean, it's been reaching out to him so many times too, so he feels like it already is connected to him. Well, I guess what does that look like when I try to contact it?
Well, I mean, you're going to open the hatch and go down?
Yeah, absolutely.
When you open the hatch, there is a set of, there's a ladder that you can climb down. It goes down quite a ways into this large, almost amphitheater-like space beneath Starlight Kingdom. it's like one of those, you know, like when you go to watch like those like science museum star show things with the domed ceiling that displays the cosmos or whatever. It's that kind of thing. It's this like kind of curved domed amphitheater with a set of movie theater style chairs in the amphitheater that can recline all the way back so that you can watch the show.
Oh, good. We're at an AMC.
Indeed. And Nicole Kidman's in the back row. She's doing her thing. And you can definitely I think like when you come down there, I think the entity manifests. It manifests as like a sort of Close Encounters style like light show that's happening above you. And indeed, you are meant to sit here and watch it and let its energy flow through you and pass through you and around you.
I think then Nathan would guide, you know, Ashley by the hand to the middle row, because you never sit in the front row. That's for absolute psychopaths. Yeah, just like to the middle row seating. And like just sit down and like just kind of like watch and letting it wash over us and establish just like contact. And I think Nathan doesn't realize he's doing this, but it's just the environment. He does a very awkward like stretch arm over Ashley, just around her, around the back of her seat as a little, just to hold her a little bit. And I guess like he's like mesmerized by this display. As he's watching it, I guess he's kind of like uncertain with what to do. So his mind is just kind of like thinking. He's like trying to like manifest with his head, like if I poke it, does it respond? Like ping ping, like does my thoughts interlace with it? What is happening here? He's just mesmerized by what he's witnessing.
I think like as this is happening, like the former shock kind of goes away. And as you do like the awkward like arm thing, I think she would have like taken your hand again as soon as we were up the stairs. And then she like leaned in closer to, like almost instinctively, like she's not really thinking about it. She's watching this thing, but it's like a source of comfort that she wants to be close to.
The thing is sharing images with you. You perceive it as like it appears on this domed screen, but that's not really what's happening. It's just in your head. But it's showing you like scenes that you don't recognize. It's showing you, well, at first it shows you like memories that you do recognize, memories from childhood, memories of things you did in college. Like it seems to know you really well, which is why it's able to like construct these strange, you know, scenes for you and stuff. But then it starts showing you both memories that you have no memory of. Memories of the two of you and Topher and a fourth guy you've never seen showing up for the summer at Rodenbecker Street. And you see more or less all the things that have been happening to you in Deep Lake this summer, but this fourth guy is there and you don't know who this guy is. Maybe the entity got its wires crossed. Maybe it doesn't quite understand. And then it just goes blank. And then you feel it is looking for something from you at this point.
I think that's what Nathan understands. And seeing these memories that he has no recollection of, this fourth person, I also think another additional thought that passes through his mind is like, but is that true? Like, we've seen weird things of reality changing in strange ways here. Is there one of us that was lost sure, I mean, surely we'd remember them, but I guess it's possible. And that kind of clicked a thought into place for him. And thinking back to earlier today, or actually no, like moments ago, when Ashley was saying like, don't take him from, don't take him. And then his mind goes back even farther, back several days, to them arguing in the car, to where she, after their fight, just whispered very like quietly and painfully, don't leave me. And Nathan kind of like looks down and feels his connection to the entity, thinks about what he thinks he understands about it, that it communicates through emotion, it communicates through powerful feelings and intent, and or maybe if he can bridge that gap in a way he can understand the feeling of both protection and wanting to preserve something good and not wanting to cause problems and caring for something, maybe that'll communicate to it, I understand, but you are causing harm. I'm trying to protect the things I care about. Please stop. I think he like looks slightly over at Ashley, just next to him. And if Ashley looks at him, they kind of like look at each other then. What's going on with Ashley? I want to like in her mind.
Yeah, I think Ashley is very familiar with feeling like there are memories that you should have but you don't. Because even right now she has memories. There's this almost like the rock and roll music and the violent images are playing, but she cannot quite connect it to this is something that I did. It's like where but you can't quite get there. And I think like when that is starting to happen, she knows that there are things that she doesn't remember because she doesn't want to remember. And she doesn't know who this first person is, but maybe he was something that she made go away because he wasn't good. And maybe he is another memory that she is trying to forget. But then I think there's also just like the more that she thinks about it, the more she kind of like looks at Nathan in this hope that maybe it doesn't have to stay this way. And I think that's sort of where she is at when she's looking at him, where she's hoping that maybe this time she isn't alone and it's going to be different.
And I think maybe us, the way that the anomaly displayed this light show to the both of us, showing memories to each of us, our minds are kind of overlapping a little bit. Like we kind of are linked in this for this moment. There's like this simultaneous like shared thought emotion connection of like, we're not going anywhere. Like this is a point of safe harbor, an anchor. Like this is thing. I think Nathan just, with like no awkwardness in his way of going about it, it's just a single, just kind of like, it's almost like it's just like the natural like flowing into it, just leans in to kiss Ashley.
Yeah, I think she like seeing the movement, she's meeting him halfway, just kind of help him get there.
And then they kiss.
And the lights turn into a soft, rosy glow and then disappear. And you have the distinct feeling that the entity at Starlight Kingdom is no longer there. That'll conclude the night phase. I will say, well, we'll pick it up next time. I have one thing to add from that night, but I'm going to put it in my back pocket for now. The night phase is over. Let's go to the dawn. Right. What do we have to do for the dawn phase? Okay, a mystery was resolved, and so you do get to collect rewards. These rewards are all tchotchkes from Starlight Kingdom, from when it was a planned theme park. What is it? The theme park that never opened. Some merch, if you will. I'm going to drop that into the chat real quick for you. And do that there. I'll read it off for people watching the video. You can have a Star Child figurine molded from glow-in-the-dark plastic. Add it to your corner of the house. A chunk of iridescent ore which changes color in response to nearby emotions. Add it to your corner of the house. A Star Messenger virtual pet appearing at random on the pixel display within its sparkling blue egg, gesturing mysteriously, then vanishing. The battery never runs out. Add it to your corner of the house. A pair of 3D goggles which reveal spectral after images when used at night. And then finally, a Starlight Kingdom branded Magic 7 ball. Add it to your corner of the house. You can pose a question to it, which triggers a meddling move with sensitivity taken with advantage. And then there are some rules that kick in when you do that. So who wants what?
I mean, I already have a Tamagotchi, so I don't think I need a Star Messenger. I don't know. I'm kind of interested in I mean, like I'd say for Nathan, I'd actually either do the the Magic 7 ball or the 3D goggles, but I'll see what other people want to get. That's just kind of what I'm interested in.
I think the mood ring ore is like great for Ashley first and foremost. Like I think that's such her vibes all around. I like the Star Messenger a lot.
Yeah, I can take the ore. I think that's a very Ashley Ashley thing.
I feel like I wasn't really involved in Starlight Kingdom, so I'll let you pick first.
I'll take the Magic 7 ball. Why not? Nathan's too anxious to make his own decision. He'll ask the magic ball.
And I'll go for the goggles.
Very good. Rewards are sorted. Let's do Dawn questions now. And this goes back to the stuff from last session as well, the last day phase. Did the Latchkeys resolve a mystery? Yes, you did. Signals from the other side are not in play because we did not watch a tape. However, Ashley, were you vulnerable with someone? I would say so.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go out of your
Definitely,
way to
yeah.
reconnect with Deep Lake? I would say so as well because you went up those stairs when you didn't have to.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Nathan, did you go out of your way to reconnect with Deep Lake?
Maybe I'm trying to remember like everything that happened last session. I mean, like I guess the nature of like wanting to like go deal with Starlight Kingdom was like wanting to literally reconnect, like and wanting to establish an emotional like thing to like connect with the anomaly. I don't know.
I think it's a bit of a stretch.
Fair.
Did you share a good memory from your childhood?
I don't think I did.
Okay. I think you still get your advancement though.
I do, yeah.
Topher, did you deliver a chilling monologue about something that happened to you in the past?
I feel like maybe I don't exactly remember all that Topher said to the priest.
Oh, that's right, the Father Rogelio. I had a question about that for the day phase too. I'll take it. I think it was probably in this. It feels like that whole scene was kind of in the spirit of this, but I could be mistaken. I think he delivered a chilling monologue.
It could be. Yeah, I think it could be like argued that either of my questions, but definitely not both of them.
Okay, why don't you take the vulnerable one then, and we'll call it square. Sean, did you go out of your way to reconnect with Deep Lake?
I marked it that yes, but I can't remember. Maybe the strolling through Deep Lake to get to the sheriff's when he got to the bridge.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Yeah, I think that was good. Did you cut loose for once?
Yeah, he took his anger out on the sheriff's new boyfriend.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, good.
And played video games all night.
That is true.
As
You can mark
one
new
does.
Dawn questions or leave them the same if you wish. We don't have any moves that resolve in the Dawn phase. And so do we have any key prompts? Everybody marked key last time, and I don't know if any of that stuff ever got resolved. So because you all marked the key to bump up the Starlight Kingdom question result. But you did not resolve any of them because I just listened to it. So, so if you all have things that are marked on your sheet and you don't remember narrating it, now is the time to do it.
I don't remember which one I marked if I did.
Let me look at
trying
your
to-
sheet. I
yeah.
might remember. I mean, it
Uh,
wasn't, it had to have been a Key of the Child. So
I think it was a Key of the Child, yeah.
Yeah. You've showed
I
us your
marked-
routine, I'm pretty sure.
I showed us how I watched TV Odyssey. The
Outsider
of
among your
schools,
peers.
Latchkey routine. I don't know. I don't remember if it was genuine happiness or when I realized childhood wasn't forever.
We'll pick one and let's do it.
I think it might be the one where it's not forever. I think the happiness one was you
Oh.
watching
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
television with your family.
I think
if
that
I
was
remember
no,
correctly.
I think that was
that was the
Key
TV
of
Odyssey
Neon
one.
Nights. Yeah.
Oh,
the Key-
okay.
well, yeah. I think it was when I realized childhood wasn't forever. I think because I that one feels like I didn't pick that one before. So let me think about that just for a minute.
Okay. I mean, you could do it like later
yeah.
too, but it, technically you owe it right now. But it's as long as we get it at some point before the session's over.
I marked one of the child this session. Last session, I marked the Fathomless Well.
Very good, very good. Sean, your march towards character retirement. Did you do all your keys?
I have two to narrate. Two
Oh.
Keys of the Child.
Go for it if you're ready.
So I have a flashback to the moment when you realized your parents were imperfect. And I think when we see this, it's not to the moment, it's the aftermath. And we see Sean sitting in a car. His cheeks are tear stained. And in the back seat are a couple of bags, an old Nintendo and Atari stacked up on the back seat. And Sean's brother comes out of the house and slams the door behind him, stalks over to the car, gets in behind the wheel and says, "He might come around." And Sean says, "No." And his brother looks out at the street for a minute and he says, "Well, we don't need him anyway." And Sean just shrugs. And his brother says, "No, really, I got my place and I'll get another job. And then when you're a little bit older, you can get a job and we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We don't need him." And Sean just kind of wipes his nose and the two of them drive off as the brother says, "I've heard there's an opening at this TV station." And a couple of weeks later, Sean has adjusted to living in his brother's bachelor pad. He has the TV all to himself most days. He can play games all night. He has perfect freedom and no one watching, no one judging. He isn't on anyone else's schedule but his own. And that is the first time that he can recall feeling genuine happiness.
I can do mine unless you want to do your next one right after. Or
Well,
like
that was my both
immediately. Oh, that was both of them. Oh, that was great. I didn't even notice. I was just like, man, this is so cool. Yeah, I can do mine. A flashback showing your latchkey kid routine when you got home from school. The camera shows a preteen Topher wearing their mother's scarf, walking into a trailer park. They pass by many mobile homes that line the barren and packed dirt near the front of the park. They make their way toward the back, where an old and dilapidated mobile home is parked amidst a pile of soda cans and plastic wrappers. They push the button that unlatches the screen door and jiggle the handle till the screen opens. Then they pop the key into the rickety old door and cringe as the hinges protest with all their might to being opened. They enter the mildew-scented trailer and lock the flimsy door behind them. Retrieving their homework from their bag before tossing it onto the small trash-laden love seat, they sit down at the table in the kitchenette to begin working. As they sit down, they move a stack of mail that's been piling up off to the side. The camera sees a payment from the foster care service.
Very nice. Are there any other keys to turn? Then that will conclude the dawn phase. Here's what I want to do. So I want to take a 10-minute break because I have to take the dog out, but also I need to read through the next mystery a little bit. I think I want to have kind of a compressed day phase so that we can get straight to night phase and kind of be back on a day night thing. The compressed day phase, I think I would like for it to be just a sort of decompressing at the house with the characters. You have 2 new people living there, 3 if you count Mark. There is, well, and Casey's not really living there, but he's just there with Elliot. I think it'd be interesting just to have that kind of like scene post Starlight Kingdom, post, whatever awkwardness might be lingering between Ashley and Nathan, or maybe it's not awkward at all. I don't know. Maybe you both have reached total self-actualization through that kiss in that amphitheater. Who knows? But in any case, and then of course, very interested in seeing how Sean, literally on the outside of this, handles everything. So that'll probably be just so it'll be kind of an abbreviated day phase, if that's okay with everyone. We'll also kind of check in a little bit with Slumber Party because we haven't done that. And then we'll go straight to night. So let's take a 10-minute break. Okay. This day phase begins with the sun rising on Starlight Kingdom. The commune of people, they're all still there, most of them, setting up their little individual tents and campsites. Very, very thick smell of weed in the air still. Lots of people just sleeping. Very, very couple of people are still awake, chatting overnight. And the play is still going on. The play is still going on. At this point, the part we didn't see was the miner reaching the sun removing the mask and giving it to the miner to become the new wanderer. And now the miner, as the sun, is on a stage that's been decorated like a cave. And he's laying on the ground with another character, another young man, and the miner behind the sun mask says, "My time is coming to an end. My journey has reached its final destination. I shall wander no more. You will become the wanderer now." And the miner removes the sun mask to reveal a very, very old and haggard face underneath. And this new person puts the mask on. But the play is still going. Meanwhile, back at 26 Rodenbecker Street, so much happened the night before. Ashley and Nathan, probably in a weird haze of emotion, come home to Tover with a couple of kids in tow. Elliot behaves much more normally now. He's not like all ghosty anymore, which is interesting. And Ashley and Nathan will remind you as well that you saw these strange false memories that the entity showed you. Let's just pick up with the early morning here. What's everybody doing? What's going on?
I think the first thing Nathan does when he gets home, once once he and Ashley are like apart, whether like she goes like probably clean up, I imagine. I think he like just is, and he's been up all night at this point and he's exhausted. He's probably gonna like, go upstairs, just change his shirt or something. It's just been a long night. He just splashes water on his face. He's thinking about how good a cup of coffee sounds, and the thought of like what happened with those back at the Starlight Kingdom with those memories kind of like thinks about it for a moment, and then on a hunch, he's gonna like poke his head out of his bedroom and like walk along the upper floor of our house. And is there another bedroom here? I know there are rooms we're not using because we rented this place and don't have use for all the rooms, but like, is there an extra bedroom with stuff in it here that I just forgot about? That's what I'm doing.
Topher has already raided that extra bedroom to set up the Atari for the kids. And I think stops setting it up mid way when seeing the people walking into the home covered in blood. It's like, okay, guys, go play outside of the backyard for a second.
They were probably fine because Atari sucks anyway, and then they they left.
I think Sean is out in the backyard, just sitting on the grass, looking up at the sky when the kids come out. And he's got the cat on his chest and just he looks up at the kids, maybe sees through the sliding door, Ashley and Nathan covered in blood. And for a minute, he gets up to go in, worry painting his features. And then he just remembers and sits back down and pulls his knees up to his chest. And that's where they would find him in the morning too.
I think at this point we can also do your truth is out there move, since we forgot to do it at the beginning of the session, Sean. You're this mysterious benefactor who apparently knows you're there still and is aware of you, is leaving you things that function as clues. What'd they leave this time? Or I can tell you what they left.
If you have something in mind, I'd love to hear it.
Ashley, the doorbell rings.
Yeah, I if I'm still covered in blood, I'm not gonna open. But I think
you just hear someone on the other side. They say, "I've got a delivery, got a package. I got a package for a Sean Thompson."
There's no Sean here.
This is 26 Rodenbecker Street, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think this is where this package is supposed to go. So, what do you want me to do?
All right. Leave it. I'll get it later. I can't now. Just leave it.
Okay. Well, you don't want to leave it out here very long, though. It's well, okay. And it's a Christmas gift wrapped in Christmas paper, not wrapped in any other kind of box. That's why he's like, don't leave it out long. Christmas in July. There's a tag on it that says, open only under the most dire of circumstances.
I think she'll take it. Not tell anyone else. She'll take it, go upstairs, washes off the blood, changes clothes. And I think we see her for a moment, looking in the mirror and and she's practicing a smile until it's convincing enough. And then I think with that smile painted on perfectly, she will turn to the package and say, I don't know what's dire for you, Sean Thompson, but this feels all pretty fucking dire. And I think she'll, just curious what it is gonna take a look.
Oh, don't tell us what it is yet. It's a floating clue to be used at Sean's discretion, but you can tell us what you saw whenever the time comes. And I think I'm going to go ahead and introduce the new mystery. It's all over the news this morning. A block party ended in tragedy when Marguerite Lennis, age 71, murdered her husband with a pair of garden shears in front of the whole neighborhood. When asked by her neighbors and the responding police officers why she did it, all she said was, "The house told me what he did. None of us are innocent." Marguerite was later found dead in the station's lockup. She had hanged herself. The block party in question happened on Mahogany Place, the only completed section of the abandoned Playa Morado housing development outside of Deep Lake. It is a single street of 16 houses surrounded by empty lots and desert. You might imagine the house in Arrested Development with just all that empty dirt around it. It's that, but it's 16 houses. I'm going to pose a question to Topher. Topher, you've heard many conspiracy theories about Playa Morado and why it was never finished. Which is the most absurd, and which one unnerves you to think might actually be true? I can repeat that if you need me to.
No, it's all right. I was just rereading a little bit of the summary. I think that it was never finished because there was a very the rumor, it's the most absurd, is that during monsoon season, one particularly rough storm came through and effectively flooded the entire development to the point where all of the supports that had already been put in got insanely waterlogged and rotten, immediately. And the one that unnerves them the most is that the investors who were funding the construction of this place all just drowned in their bathtubs one night simultaneously. And that's why the thing was never finished, because there wasn't enough funding.
Cursed. This is not the only thing to grab your attention vis-a-vis Playa Morado. Ed Rogelski, a conspiracy nut and resident of Mahogany Place, has been posting extensively on message boards and local chat rooms about the strange goings-on and paranoia in his little neighborhood. Between the murder of Mr. Lennis and Ed's ramblings, all of this eerily aligns with a well-known urban legend in Degoya County. The Whisper. That's also what our mystery is called. Depending on who you ask, the Whisper is either a demon, or aliens, or the Illuminati, or something similarly hard to believe, but the details are usually the same. A voice in your walls that tells you the deepest, darkest secrets of your friends and family and what they really think of you. I shall pose the following to Ashley. Your family was nearly torn apart by the so-called Whisper when you lived in Deep Lake, so you know that whatever it is precisely, the Whisper is a real phenomenon. What happened to your family?
I don't want to say too much because I think part of this will be revealed in a key at some point, but I think what happened is that obviously they joined this Forest of Joy foundation, right? I think that was clear. And I think this voice started telling her mother that these frequencies couldn't be cleared even by the foundation. And she just started believing that the world that they were living in, everything they were doing, wasn't real, and they needed to wake up, while her father was no, we're doing like the thing to fix it, so it's fine. And they just like had this argument all the time about whether, you know, anything they did and any emotion they perceived was real or not.
Maybe the Whisper is a supernatural entity, or maybe some shadowy group just wants you to think it's a supernatural entity. Either way, Playa Morado is only a 20-minute drive from the house on Rodenbecker Street. What harm could it do to check the place out? You have a question here. Is the Whisper a supernatural infestation or a man-made experiment? It's a complexity 4, and it unlocks the next appropriate question. You also have a key here called the Key of the Unspoken. Each of you finds something another Latchkey does to be quite annoying. Who is it, and what is their annoying habit? I don't think we're going to have time to look into the Whisper today.
Everyone points at Nathan.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to have time to... I know the kids are like, I've got some thoughts too. We've only been here a day. I don't think we're going to have time to really get into the Whisper today, but I do want to check in about the Slumber Party Summoning Circle. Father Rogelio has left you a message, Topher. Father Rogelio says that Linnea Rodenbecker has moved into the old cemetery, not the cemetery next to the church, the cemetery that's abandoned outside of town. She has brought a sleeping bag and supplies. She's exercising what appears to be a lot more lucidity than she has been, but she's set up camp in the old cemetery and her family doesn't know what to do about it. He's very concerned because Daryl Rodenbecker, her dad, has managed to convince the county to go pick her up and commit her. And so that's just a thing that's going on as well, as far as Slumber Party Summoning Circle goes. And I think I want to do this little abbreviated night phase or day phase by just sort of asking what everybody does here to fully decompress, or what's happening at the end of the day for you before we go into the night.
I think Ashley just kind of emerges from the bathroom cleaned up, and I think she's just back to like how she always is. Like she's smiling, everything's fine, and she's like, oh, there's no kids in the house. Well, we should make them something. And she's just going to like make brownies in a mug again, and just like nothing happened. Everything is fine. She's happy. She's taking care of people. Everything's totally fine.
I think Topher's probably like helping Ashley out with the whole thing and constantly trying to press for like, what the fuck happened? You walked in and you dragged a literal trail of blood through the house. You can't just not talk about that.
Do you respond, Ashley, or you just...
Ashley is just kind of like, oh, well, I mean, something happened at the amusement park, but I think it tried to attack us, but it's fine. I'm not hurt. Nathan's not hurt. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah, I think Nathan will even throw some like little like Topher, just be like, don't. Just don't do it.
Okay. I'm glad you're. At least
We're
it wasn't
fine.
your. Was it your blood? Was it yours?
It's never my blood, Topher.
Wait, never. Hold on.
Hey Topher, you want to see the upstairs?
Sure.
Elliot and
Right.
Max are feeding Mr. W all kinds of shit he's not supposed to be eating, like
Damn it.
Doritos and like fucking Mountain Dew and like all kinds of shit.
As long as it's not chocolate.
No.
For a lot of the day, Nathan is actually pretty. He's just kind of like chilling. I mean, like he's a little out of it and definitely a little kind of a little dissociating, but like he's kind of like floating on the. I kissed Ashley. Ashley is okay. Are we dating now? What does this mean? How do I go forward from this? What do I do? Should I hang out with her? Should I go get her flowers? How do I do this? I haven't dated in at least 4 months. How do I do this? And that's but otherwise he's playing it pretty chill.
Casey walks by you and says, "Man, you have no game at all."
I look at him like, what? I know. Why would you point that out? I know
Sean,
that.
Sean, where are you right now?
I think Sean is in the kitchen watching all of this going on, trying to kind of not be too worried. And after a few minutes, he's going to kind of get close to Ashley and just lean in and whisper, "You need to go for a drive. You want to go for a drive."
Ashley, do you take the suggestion?
I think at this point she's like, yeah. I think also there's a part of her that kind of wants to get out because she's feeling that it's not working. And if smiling doesn't work, running is the next option.
I feel like, just to add a fun little thing here, while Sean's doing this, you want to go for a drive. Nathan then kind of like pokes his head into that area as well, and he goes, "Hey, I'm going to go for a quick drive. I'll be back, and I'm just going to run to like the convenience store, grab some snacks and all that. Do you need anything?"
Elliot's like, "I do. Could you
Yep.
see it?"
Ashley, are you staying in tonight, or are you gonna be going? You planning to go out?
I think I'll take a little walk.
Sure. All right. Well, I'll be right back.
Could you see if they have Sour Patch Kids?
I'll check if they have Sour Patch Kids. Maybe we can talk a bit later.
Yeah. We
Yeah?
probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
We probably should. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go for a drive, but when I actually, like, I go to the convenience store, I just grab like some basic snacks and all that. I'm fucking tired. I took a nap in the middle of the day. I think he's like in the parking lot of the convenience store. He kind of like thinks about it. And he's like, he has not been able to get this fourth person out of his head. This is like, what is happening with this? I mean, like, Topher disappeared, but we remember Topher. What is the deal with this fourth person? And why did we get a package at the house for somebody that doesn't live there? Maybe this is silly, but he's gonna pull out the magic 7 ball, and
Nathan, Elliot, and Casey, they text you constantly because this is a new thing to them. They fucking love it. They love text messaging, and they're like texting you about, they've just learned about all the different new Mountain Dews and like Code Red and all that stuff, and they want you to grab some of those as well.
I have to be fine. I throw my phone in the back seat, but I grab all these snacks. But well, yeah, and then I'm sitting in the parking lot. I'm gonna take out this new Magic 7 ball I got because it feels strange, and I kind of want to give it a little shake. And I'm gonna pose the question. I think very straightforward. I'm gonna be like, is there a fourth latchkey? Shake, 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 shake.
Let's do the move. It says, let me pull this up real quick.
I get to roll meddling move.
Roll meddling with sensitivity, yeah, and advantage. Yeah.
And we'll see what happens. Okay. That is an 11. My highest die is a 6, which means that I can never use this
again.
this way again, but the roll is still a hit. So that means when I look up, I will find a clue. However,
yeah, it says yeah, it says as if the highest die is a 6, you don't ask again appears, and the window grows dark. Yeah,
super fucking
don't
ominous.
Ask again, and the window grows dark. Where are you at right now, Sean?
I'm in the parking. Oh
no, I know where Nathan is. Sean, did you go with Ashley or Nathan, or where you can kind of be wherever you want to be?
Yeah, I think he's still at the house. He's waiting to see what's going on with Ashley.
I think I think it says don't ask again, and it goes to a little black thing that then shows you something in the window. And the thing it shows you in the window is you glimpse that moment where Sean whispers in Ashley's ear, and you see just a little reflexive smile appear on Ashley's mouth. Ashley doesn't know why, but it looks like Sean made her smile.
I'm going to cause a problem right now. And that problem is because I only got an 11, I'm going to turn a key.
Oh, very interesting. So if you turn a key, that bumps up your result to a 12 plus. You get a clue and a tape. Is that
I mean,
what we're
yeah, because
doing
it's just the
here?
meddling. It's just the meddling move, so I already got a clue.
Yeah.
So I get a tape,
Yeah.
but I'm specifically turning the chromatic desert.
Oh, very intriguing. Very intriguing. We just see this magic 7 ball fall on the ground and roll. Billy James. Or no, he's not. This is not. You don't have this Billy James. Is your Billy James? You never met. You have Billy James in this game. In this game, right? Don't you?
We do, but we haven't.
I'm marked by him.
I never met
That's
him.
right. Yeah. Billy James is there in the parking lot with his Camaro, and he walks over and he grabs the magic 7 ball. He's like bitching, and he takes it, walks off.
Wait, that's mine. I don't lose it.
And it's true, you don't lose it.
Yeah, but like it's like wait,
you could go retrieve it. Yeah.
If I feel like when Nathan runs to go grab it, like dude, what the fuck? Billy James, it doesn't react
There's
to
no
me.
reaction. Yeah, there's no reaction. And that just leaves Topher and Ashley, the dynamic duo that came to Deep Lake for the summer to figure out what happened to TV Odyssey. Well, and Mr. W as well. Mr. W makes 3. Casey Wilcox says, I heard you have like new Mountain Dews, like Code Red. We should go get one of those.
Yeah, I mean, they're not. Honestly, the Code Red isn't as good as just the original flavor. I'm not gonna lie, but it's all right. Yeah, we can get some.
Also, what's Halo?
I'm pretty sure that's like. I don't know, actually. I think there's a guy called Master Chef or something.
They use these little like burner cell phones that you got them. They just like text you instead of talking to you. They're just like standing right there. Like Ellie's just standing right there and text you his questions. Maybe we could look it up on the internet. Send.
Sounds good.
Sean, were you angling for a nostalgic move with Ashley?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we should do that.
I will go and drive. I think, yeah, Ashley's just like, I'll be right back. I just feel like I'm being cooped up here. I'll go for a small drive and I'll be back.
Oh, bring Mountain Dew back.
Will do. And
They
I think
will
she
do.
kind of yeah, no, never mind. I'm not good at puns. And she'll just like wave and probably like grab a list of groceries.
You get a text from Elliot who's standing right there, and Sour Patch Kids.
We'll text back and Sour Patch Kids and then like a bunch of emojis and exclamation marks. And then I think we kind of see her go and sit in the car, and she just kind of like sits there for a moment. Like she's not entirely sure where or what she like wants to do. And I think she just instinctively wants to go to the lake because it's, you know, like it's nature, and also that there's something about that lake that's just, maybe it has answers that it doesn't want to give up, but it's going to have to. And she just starts driving.
I think the instinct that Ashley is not aware of is that Sean has been saying the lake. We got to go to the lake. And he's sitting in the passenger seat with a bag in his lap. And just once the car starts, he'll lean back in the seat. And he doesn't know why he keeps dreaming of the lake, but clearly he knows that's where the lake wants him to be. And I think that he thinks he's going to go there to die, and he doesn't want to do it alone.
Ashley just kind of keeps driving. And I think we see her like touch her lips a few times, like thoughtfully, unsure why. And then keep driving until she's at the camp.
Sean will be kind of reticent to get out of the car, and I don't think he even really gets out of the car. He's just out of the car when it's time to get out of the car. And he looks around, and I think this is the first time he sees the cameras that Topher told him about. And he'll look at them and he'll say, "So is this good programming for you? Good primetime content?" Anybody? No? What are the Nielsen ratings like? Yeah. Okay.
And I think that there's no response from anybody. I'm curious, though, if you think you're going to clear conditions here.
Not yet, but I think maybe as they're walking to the lake, Sean is going to be just talking to Ashley like she can hear, and explaining, like, there's nothing else. The town, this place, it has it all. So why not the rest of me? Got nothing to go back to. Got no one here. You can't even hear me. So why not?
And I think Ashley, like not hearing this indeed, she will walk up to the lake. She takes off her shoes, wades in with like just her feet. And she stares at the lake and she says, "I think you took something from me again. Give it back."
And Sean will kind of look at Ashley and say, "I don't think you're talking about me, but I wish you were." And he'll take his bag and drop it to the dirt, and he'll dig out a binder. And this binder is very well worn, very well loved, and it has written in marker on the front, "Step Up Fitness," and it has just years of his ideas for a gym. This is Sean's future in Jim Thorpe. He's got the floor plan all planned out. He knows everything, and he just says, "Well, thanks for being here." Yeah. And he'll take a breath, kick off his own shoes, because why not, and tug off his shirt and just start walking into the lake holding this binder.
Very good. I think it sounds like you were angling towards the "thank you for being a friend" outcomes. You can clear 2 conditions. You're entitled to clear a condition as well, Ashley, if you think you have managed to do that.
I only have the deep lake one, so
Okay. And
Oh shit, Sean just cleared 3 conditions.
you
at
just
the
cleared
same
all
time.
3 of yours with I Dream of
Holy
Deep Lake
shit.
as well. So when you clear I Dream of Deep Lake, you get to unmark the Chromatic Desert and I think the Wandering Monolith as well,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. And you exist again. I think we actually just see this person coming up out of the water. You've never met him still, but you see him coming up out of the water. We could just...
I think, Sean, you see this moment of where Ashley was like very obviously going to cry, thinking that she
recognize
was
him, though.
alone.
Yeah.
And then like as soon as like you walk up and she kind of like recognizes you and there's another person, like that smile just like just jumps up on her face again. She's like, it gave you back.
Sean's gonna look behind himself at the water and wipe water off out of his eyes and turn back to Ashley and just kind of wave his hand in front of her face again.
Are you Sean Thompson? Because I've got a delivery for you.
You can see me.
Yeah, of course I can. You're right there.
And he's going to just grab her in a big hug and lift her off her feet if you're cool with that, and kind of spin and
Yeah.
laugh.
You get a text message, Ashley, and it's all spelled out completely because the kids don't really know text stuff yet. They don't know T9, right? You get this message that says, "Can you please check to see if they have Flamin' Hot Cheetos?"
Amazing.
Fantastic. Also, you get a clue as well. Ashley, you get to find a clue for one of the mysteries, so be thinking about that. My goodness, I know we have to let you go, Alex,
I'm so sad that I have to leave. I know.
but I will just say that we see you standing at the mouth of the cave. The desert is particularly brilliant today. It practically shines with an unnatural glow. You're standing at the mouth of the cave, and you can hear Big Man hollering from the cave. You have to go back. You can't let them. You have to stop them. You have to stop them from watching another tape. And we will see you next time, Alex.
Oh no, cry at the dentist.
And the rest of us are going to go into the dusk phase. Are you watching an Odyssey tape?
I think. I
We
mean,
got it right.
yeah,
Yeah, we kind of have to.
I think Topher will say to Ashley, like, but probably before she left, like, hey, I think I want to watch one of those tapes, but you should know that Elliot said that, well, something's gonna like come for us if we do.
I think Ashley would have smiled and said, well, it'll find us. That won't be fun for it.
No, I suppose not.
Feeling very confident at 26 Road and Becker Street. Which tape are you going to watch? You
I
have
think-
Lucky Lots 013 Ted's Storage Adventure or Static Woman Live Interview.
I feel like Static Woman is very thematic for right now, right?
Mhm.
Like, so much chromatic desert just happened in such a little time.
Sounds great to me if there's no objections. And you can, I don't think you're really ready to answer a question yet. So, what are you going to be doing on the breaks? Oh, first of all, where are you going to watch this tape? You have options. You can always go to Loon Cabin. You probably can't go to Escondido Street anymore, but Loon Cabin, there's a VCR at Starlight Kingdom. There's a VCR in Dolores Rodenbecker's bedroom. There are places to watch things.
I
feel
have
like
a question. Since Nathan marked the chromatic desert, well, Sean was in the chromatic desert. Does Sean remember Nathan?
No, I don't think so. I don't know. It's a question we have to answer. I like the. What do we think as a group?
I was always kind of thinking that, like, once you're in the chromatic desert, you suddenly remember all the people that are already in there, but if you're not, then you don't. That's what I was kind of going with in my head. So, like, Nathan probably suddenly remembered you as soon as he marked it, and then like you forgot it as soon as you unmarked it, I think is what makes the most sense to me, at least.
I kind of like the idea, though, of Sean knowing about Nathan, but you two not knowing about Nathan, right? I think that
Yeah.
would be
Mhm.
interesting from a role
I think
play
it's pretty cool.
standpoint.
Yeah.
It sounds like maybe that's what you were thinking of, Ben, but I don't know. Maybe I have that wrong.
I do like that if Sean hadn't been there when Nathan marked it, then he wouldn't, but he was already outside of things.
That's
when
right. You were
it
already
happened.
looking
Mhm.
in, right? Yeah, I think that's probably why that makes
Mhm.
us. I mean, I think what Steph said makes sense as well, but this is also a good interpretation. Okay, so then, yeah, what's everyone doing then tonight? Where are you watching this tape, and what are you gonna be doing as you watch?
I feel like either at home or Loon Cabin makes the most sense. Loon Cabin because, Sean just came out of the freaking water.
Sean and Ashley are both there.
so-
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we're like already there. So I like maybe, like I texted Doe like this guy walked up and I feel like I kind of know him and he says he knows us and like maybe we don't want to get these two kids involved. So maybe we want to do that here.
You will
But
get a
I also feel
text
like us going
a
at
text that
home.
says ETA on the Mountain Dew and candy.
I
Uh,
plugged a number. No.
I think Topher says, well, Linnea's been doing some weird shit. And like she packed up and moved into a cemetery. So I'm thinking that like if there was a time to go through her stuff that she didn't take with her, it would probably be now, right? Like there's a VCR there. I'm sure. I mean, I don't think Dolores has frankly the wherewithal to say no, don't put a thing in my VCR.
That also
Uh,
makes sense to me. Ben,
This is-
break the tie.
It seems like a bad idea, so yeah, let's do it.
Very well. Very well. And okay, it is. Okay. So sounds like everybody's going to be at the Rodenbeckers Ranch. I have to be reminded because I ran this mystery during the retreat, and I want to make sure I'm not getting my wires crossed on things that happened. I know that if I remember correctly, Topher, you brought Silas Rodenbecker with you to the church, or no? Was that the other game? It
Mm-mm.
must have been the other game. Okay, so you went to the church. You've met Silas and Trinity, though.
Yes.
The other brother and sister. Okay, and you met Dolores, and I think Nathan participated in a rousing rendition of Anything Goes, if I'm not mistaken, as a dancer. Okay, great, and love all that. Okay, I just want to make sure kind of where things are at, or make sure I understand the situation. Do we have any unresolved key prompts right now? Then I shall introduce the Odyssey tape and then we'll take a little break. The Odyssey tape is Static Woman live interview. The tape is a man on the street interview segment with host Lem Waters on the left side of the screen, with host Lem Waters on the left side of the screen, identified by the lower third text overlay as host Today in DeKalb. It's a bright day in a downtown area and the occasional pedestrian walks by on the sidewalk. Only the left half of the screen is clear. Lem is extending a microphone to the right side of the screen, which is entirely lost in colorful static, though a female form can be seen as the visual distortion bends. Everyone gets to do the paint the scene. Prompt 2 will be Ben. Prompt 3 will be Jazzy. And prompt 4 will be Steph. And let's go ahead and take a, yeah, we can do 10. Let's do a 10-minute break and we'll come back and do our tape. It's night phase. We see gnarled old hand wearing giant paste jewelry rings press play on her well-used VCR.
The screen comes to life. Well, the left side of the screen comes to life. The right side is covered in static, but we can tell, thanks to the lower third, that this is Today in DeKalb, and the host is a man named Lem. It's a bright day in wherever in DeKalb this is filmed. In the downtown area, we see people walking by on the sidewalk. But behind them, we can see an old theater, not a movie theater, but a stage with a marquee that is unintelligible. The text on it is just scrambled letters that seem to shift every time the static kind of overtakes.
There's an advertisement on this building. Half of it says "Drink raging something," and there is an individual holding up a can and smiling far too wide on the poster.
Whenever the host shifts, there are these very thick, velvet, heavy curtains that, despite their weight, seem to move.
The tape is paused. We'll just play these Latchkey scenes by ear. But Dolores Rodenbecker, Trinity and Silas are there as well. You're all just crammed into Dolores's room, which is like overloaded with pictures and her pictures and memorabilia. She is presently dressed in the Glinda the Good Witch pink gown that billows, and the big crystal crown, and a bad red wig over her incredibly ancient face. And she says, I'm not super familiar with this particular performance, but maybe when it's over, we can watch some of those recorded auditions I did for the part of Mrs. Lovett in Sweeney Todd. You know, Stephen originally wrote that role for me, but I wasn't willing to play politics like that bitch Angela Lansbury. Trinity says, I think I have never wanted to jack into the Matrix more than right now. Silas looks over at you, Sean, and he says, so how do you know them?
That, well, a forum. We met in the forum. And he'll turn to Trinity and say, I really loved all of this.
She's like, all of this? All of what?
Your whole thing. This is great.
This is not a style statement, Sean, was it?
Yeah.
This catsuit has been specially engineered to make it easy for me to move when I have to do battle with the robots.
Right, yeah. Can you do a 3-point, like, you got your arm thrown back, just like a landing?
Silas says she can't even do a 3-point turn in her car.
Right. No robots, by the way, but cameras.
Elliot and Casey are there too. Elliot's like, Ashley, could you go to the kitchen and get me another Pepsi?
Sure thing. I think Ashley is like kind of going to use that as an excuse to go snooping a little bit. Because I
Ashley,
think she
get him a
wanted to
diet
talk
one.
to Trinity. She wanted to talk to like Trinity and then got like deeply uncomfortable when she started about talking battling robots. Because no, not today. Not today. It's too fresh. So she is out of there.
We hit play.
Lem turns toward the camera with a large, strained smile. Today in DeKalb, we're asking you, the people of DeKalb, about something that has come to define modern life, the television and our relationship to it. Miss, would you like to tell us your name? Moves the microphone to the right side of the screen. Whoever is there, we get the sense it's a woman. We can only hear a garbled burst of static. Takes the microphone back. And are you a television watcher? Lem asks. Again, the woman's response is unintelligible. Lem moves the microphone back to himself. That's wonderful. Tell our viewers, how many hours a day would you say you spend watching TV? The woman, clouded and static, begins a long answer, the sound distorted and unintelligible, but for 2 words somewhere in the middle. Dolores Rodenbecker. Lem laughs and tilts his head as if he's in on a joke that the audience didn't hear. Says, not while I'm around.
Very good. Elliot pauses the tape. He's like, I've got to go to the bathroom. And Casey's like, the bathroom? Like, what? You're not going to miss anything. This is not exactly Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles the movie. What's everyone else doing? Dolores has fallen asleep in her easy chair. She's not even awake.
Oh, good. I think that Topher's are going to take this, Dolores is asleep, so she's not going to be harrying us. Topher's going to try and get to Linnea's, I guess, old room and poke around a bit.
Yeah, it sounds like Ashley was poking around the house as well. So that's we'll get a couple.
Or I could be on distraction duty if we want to.
Oh, it doesn't matter. No, it's either. It's fine. It doesn't matter. I mean, you can do 2 meddling moves. There's plenty of house to search.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. I think Casey, during the break, looks up at you, Sean, and says, it's like totally obvious you're into her, to Trinity.
Oh, is it?
He's like, yeah, I mean, like, you couldn't be more obvious.
Yeah, no, I should.
You have
I should
no
rein it
game.
in.
None.
Yeah. I'll work on it. Thanks. Is Trinity around?
She's just right there. She's wearing her sunglasses in this darkened room. She says, what just happened there on the tape? It just confirms everything that I've always known to be true about this place. Degoya County is part of the simulation.
Oh. Okay. I saw the other side of things recently. I got stuck there for a bit.
You woke up?
Was dragged kicking and screaming, more like, but I guess.
Silas says, oh, here we go. And Ashley, where do you go look in the house?
I think if Topher is gonna do Linnea's room and everything, I think, you know what? I think I want to look in Trinity's room.
Oh,
I want to know why she's so obsessed with the robots and, how that relates to me, maybe.
I love it. And Topher, are you just kind of doing a basic, like, look around and search kind of thing? Or are you doing something specific?
I think that Nathan checked here and there was like a weird like bunch of bugs all over the place,
She
right?
was
Like a
laying on a
bug
bed.
bed.
She was laying on a bed of maggots. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see like that general area. Like, did she pack up and move the maggots?
Sounds good. You can both roll the meddling move and regular dice.
With reason?
Yeah, I think reason makes sense for both of you. Yeah.
Eight.
A 7 in that case.
Sean, the complication is this. As Topher is looking around Linnea's room, where's Leo?
I think there's an air conditioning vent up in the corner of the wall that, even from the size of the vent, you can tell that a human being could not possibly fit in there. And yet, we see glinting in the light Leo's eyes a little too far apart, staring down at Topher.
And as Ashley is searching other Trinity's room, where's Paula?
Trinity's closet is the kind with the sliding mirrored doors, and the doors are closed, but from the right angle, if you look where they meet in the middle, you can see just the flash of pink of her blouse, a little shiny glint of steel of something in her hand, and one eye just staring.
I love it. Silas says, "Oh boy, here we go again. We better get through this tape as fast as possible," and presses play.
There is more static, but a person seems to appear behind Lem. They walk into the frame, and then, almost as if mirroring that image earlier, they find Ashley. And I think it's still like this static, this very hard to see, but one eye kind of like flickers through sometimes, like somebody almost like physically fighting to get through a blue eye, much like Ashley's eye. And a voice says, "Honey, they won't let me stay long, but remember, you must remember, the voice isn't real. It whispers to us. We cannot listen. Honey, you have to remember. Remember what happened to me and your father. Remember, it's the only way to set you free." And then there is a piercing shriek, as if someone is in pain, and the eye vanishes, and there's just glitching static.
Press pause. Dolores is speaking in her sleep on her lazy boy, the crown askew on her head. She says, "Oh, Daddy. Oh, Daddy, they're here. They're here to come get me. I can feel it. I can feel it. My time is coming. My time is coming. I'm going to be a star, Daddy. I'm going to be a star." Silas says, "This is really too morbid for our good. We have got to. Why are we doing this? Who are you people? Where is Linnea?" And What is everyone like? I will clues to Ashley and Topher, and I'll give you those in a bit. Sean, what are you doing right now?
Sean will look at Talis and say, "Actually, I saw your sister on the bridge. What was the name of the bridge? The Sadness Bridge. I can't remember the name of. But she talked to me actually. You don't have any idea why this would target her, do you?"
Make the meddling move with presence.
8.
8. I'm going to give you. Trinity leans forward and she says, I can only share information with people who are part of the resistance. You've been to the other side. Who do you fight for, humanity or the robots?
Trust me, the other side is way more fucked up than you could imagine. Definitely humanity.
All right, then. You're going to take a condition, the resistance. And she'll give you your clue, which I need to look up right now. Very interesting. Very interesting. Actually, I should probably look at the clues that we've already got before I get too invested here. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of strange stuff. Okay. She leans forward and she says, I'll tell you why she's the perfect vessel. Because she's supposed to be dead.
How do you mean supposed to be dead?
She she initially died when we were in the womb together. We were not supposed to be twins. But she fought. She hung on. She's always been a fighter. She's always been strong, despite her reserved demeanor. That's your clue. Ashley, you are taking the found footage condition as well. And your clue you find scratched onto the dining room table a message. DR plus RM forever. Topher. You are going, you pull back the sheets, the bed covers to see if those maggots are still there. And there are not maggots. It's an equal quantity, but instead of maggots, it is a bunch of white lilies, or the petals of a bunch of white lilies spread all over the bed. We press play for the last time.
As the face fades out of the static, we see Lem take the microphone, hold it back up to his own mouth, and say, "Well, that's incredible. Now, we're gonna have to get going to another person here, get what they have to say on the matter. But first, I just want to know, what kind of advice do you have for the people watching at home?" And the vague head shape of static turns toward the camera. And through all of the distortion, we see it begin to spread from the right half of the screen to the left. As this woman, she says, the screen suddenly fills completely, then turns off, but there is an image burned into it. And the image is of a woman, Dolores Rodenbecker, turning a key.
And indeed, when you stop the tape, she's no longer sitting in her lazy boy chair. She's gone. You also hear, at the end of the night, coming from somewhere in the deep desert, the howl of a wolf. That concludes the night phase. Let's, I think in the interest of time, we'll do our dawn next time. I have to take the pup to a vet appointment after this. So let's just do stars and wishes. Stars, things you enjoyed, of course. Wishes, things you hope to see. Next time, I know we won't have Jazzy next time, but you know, you can say what you'd like to see on the video, Jazzy.
Stars for Ben. The fucking Deep Lake scene, the Dream of Deep Lake scene was so good. And it's so sad that he gave up on his life dream, his whole thing. It's so sad. I wanted to cry. I almost did. It was so great. I really adored just all of, like, Steph, adored all of Sean's time in the Chromatic Desert. I feel like none of the characters did, but that's part of why I did. I'm just, he's such a complex character, and I love getting to explore him in all of these different weird ways. And Ashley, the fucking super murder, again. It's, once is a crime of passion, twice is a serial killing, hon. I'm so stoked for more of this. I'm very excited to see the Night of the Bone Wolves. It's gonna be so much fun. I'm very excited for the next couple of sessions. Over the 3 weeks, I went and I wrote down all of Topher's masks key responses. So I am also excited to mark more of those and get a lot more into Topher's like history with foster care and stuff like that. Yeah.
So I want to point out real quickly that I had the timing off a little bit on the campaign structure. You need to watch one more tape before the fourth layer is opened up. So Jazzy will be here when we pick up in July for that. So we won't have that big, exciting mid-season finale, but we will have it'll probably still be very good. So I'll just go and do my stars. What a great session. Super cool, super fun, very emotional. It was just highs all across the board. Big star for that whole flashback with Ashley and the weird cult church thing. the robots and all that business. Really, really loved the Nathan's resolution of the Starlight Kingdom situation. It was really great. The decision making going on with Topher vis-a-vis the kids in Escondido Street was really, really cool to watch. And I went in a really different direction with that. I think I had like kind of hinted that it was going to be kind of like a more Escondido Street, like murder and chaos, but I wanted to make it something a little more different, the obstacle, so to speak, and having it be more of this like kind of emotional decision. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it played out really great. It was fun to watch. And Sean's like unburdening on when sacrificing to the lake was really, really great. So those are just the highlights of a very, very cool session. Lots of fun stuff happened. Wishes, I'm really curious to get going on The Whisperer, which is the new mystery, see how that goes. Very excited to see more of whatever the deal is with Big Man and these entities that are now in Nagoya County and all that stuff, to see what else happens with that. And I'm curious to see if we will indeed unlock the next layer of the campaign.
Yeah, for me, so like the horror that gets me is like emotional horror. Like I'm a big fan of like the sad horror vibes, like The Innocent, or even like the Bad Duke, where it's like, is it a monster or is it just your trauma? And I think like this session was like such a good like sad horror vibe. Like it was really just like that emotional core of everything that makes everything so hard-hitting and terrifying. And I think everyone here is just like so good at keeping that up and making you feel so much for these characters. But yeah, individual stars. Jason, I love that we now have these kids that text us to get Mountain Dew like all the time. Like that comedic timing of did she like ETA on the flaming hot Cheetos or whatever, like when Sean just came back. Absolutely dying. That was so great. I really love that. And it puts us in like such a weird like parental position of these weird kids, which is something that I just personally really, really love. And I really like that's also a wish to kind of see what's happening there. For Topher, yeah, the mask was super sad. And also, like as Jason said, like that emotional choice. I really love Topher going like, no, don't sacrifice yourself. I was like, Topher, come at me. That's exactly what you did. Don't don't do this. But I really love that. I also love like the logic of, well, Linnea isn't here, so we can't go snooping. I thought that was pretty fun too. For Ben, yeah, Sean is just, I loved Sean. Like I love petty Sean and angry Sean, and just being like, Mark, shut the fuck up, get the hell out of here. I thought those scenes were incredibly fun. And then I think you made it like really funny and then like instantly like super sad when Sean started being like, well, of course I'm upset. Like my friends don't remember me and this and this and this. I was like, yeah, it really sucks, doesn't it? Also your commitment to the bit, to defeating this arcade that got you, I thought was really great. Um, yeah, for wishes, I am so excited to get into the Whisper because I feel like it's like a very Ashley vibed one. Like when I was going through what her possible history could be, I hadn't read any of them, but now like I sort of have gone through the mystery and so I was like, oh, this one is gonna mess her up. It's not gonna be good. So I'm super excited to like see how that is gonna interact with her and her background story and everything. I'm also very excited to see that she had that big moment with Nathan, and now she doesn't know who Nathan is. And I feel like all these emotions are probably not fully gone. So she's feeling all these things, but there's nobody to feel them for. And like, I mean, that would have been a star for Alex if he was here, but like, I hate you. But also, that was
I
the
noted
best.
Alex's reaction on the video. I noted Alex's reaction when I said that Sean comes back and you still don't remember who he is.
He was
Alex
so
is like,
upset, yeah.
uh-oh.
Yeah, it's just also because like Ashley still has objects that she got as a gift from him and everything. So I think it's very, very interesting to see. Also because Sean does remember. So like I guess that would sort of be my wish to see like how is that going to affect Ashley going forward. And yeah, I still want scenes with Trinity, especially now because we know like the whole robot thing with Ashley, because I feel like it's gonna be funny, but also like a little bit tense, maybe, which I think is very fun. Um, and I'm very, very happy that I do get to see the 8th layer thing happen. So I was sad that I wasn't gonna be there.
All right. Any other stars wishes, Sean? Or Ben, have you gone?
I have not. I'll be really brief. Oh, so many good scenes today with Nathan and Ashley getting that weird little finally getting together right after Ashley did some more murder. I really liked the way, Jazzy, that you incorporated the key scene into what was going on. That was good. And yeah, the scene that, and thank you for letting me bring Ashley to the lake. And that was very good. Steph,
That scene was
just
terrific. It was such a good scene. Yeah.
and star for Jason for not having people remember Sean. I expected, it would revert back to the way things were. This is so much crueler and better. And I look forward to getting to explain to Ashley. So you had a boyfriend, kind of. And also, I had a boyfriend, kind of. He's going to want to look into that. And yeah, Topher's key flashback, always, you're so on point with them. And I hope for a scene with Topher and Sean kind of comparing and contrasting. They had very different experiences on the other side. Also star to Alex for going for it with the desert. That'll be fun.
Any other stars or wishes?
I forgot to say it originally, but also a star for the play. The play was incredible. I had no idea what the hell any of it was until like the very end, and I was like, oh, that's fucked up. I love it.
Well, speaking of, the play is finally over. We see the miner, now a broken old man, and a large plywood and paper mache wolf is rolled onto the stage, and the old man looks up in terror, his eyes widening. And then we cut to the desert, the cave mouth where Big Man can be found. And we see a shadowy figure approach the cave mouth. And the shadowy figure says, little pig, let me in. And Big Man, now utterly withered away, skin barely clinging to bone, his eyes widen, and he screams in terror. And on stage, the actor playing the miner screams in terror. And back on Rodenbecker Street, Leo and Paula are smiling wide. Harvey Stosky is letting out a cry of jubilation. We'll pick up next week.